Hello and welcome to Unlimited Horizons with me, your coach, Jim Parker. Here we are all about helping you live your best life, and you can do it. You can live the life of your dreams, and it all starts today. I'm going to get into this introductory session with you, and we're going to talk about two foundational keys to living the life you've always wanted. But first, what is the life you dream of? Is it to live in an exotic location? Is it a dream job? Is it a dream career? Is it a financial situation? Is it a significant other in your life? It really doesn't matter what it is. You can have the life of your dreams. And more than likely, it's not coming from the place you think it's going to come from. Most of you probably believe today that if you work hard enough and you sweat long enough, that is the key to making your dreams come true. The truth is, it starts in a completely different world than working hard to get it, hustling to go after it. The fact is, I spent so much of my life doing that very thing and missing the foundational elements of how to attract the life I wanted to myself through the power of thought. A little bit about myself. I was an evangelical pastor for over 30 years. I grew up in the heart of the Bible Belt. I grew up in a way that I had a very narrow view of how the world worked because of the way I was raised and the things I was taught. And strangely, we become, of course, what we believe. So what I believe became my life, and I became a pastor in that world. And for many years, don't get me wrong, I had some great experiences and met some great people, but I had such a narrow view of how the world worked. When I think back to that time in my life, it was much like sitting in a tiny little prison cell and looking out a tiny little window and thinking that one narrow view was how the whole world looked. And when I freed myself from that prison cell and I got out and began to discover all the great things that were out there to be had and experienced, guess what? My tiny little narrow cell-like view went to a drone-like view that soars above it all and sees more and more wonderful things in an ever expanding colossal universe where the possibilities are unlimited and the horizons are unlimited, and so are yours. So what are these two things? Let's get into them today. Number one is learning the art of tuning out. You have got to learn to tune out all the negativity in your life if you want to live the life of your dreams. Right now, I would guess if you are not living the life you've always wanted to live, you've got some voices in your head. You've got some people or some groups or some circumstances telling you you can't because, and there's a whole host of reasons. You don't have enough money. You aren't talented enough. You're not worthy to live that life. You'll never be good enough. You're not one of the lucky ones. You're unlucky. Does some of that sound familiar? We have all these negative voices vying for our attention in our head, and your journey starts when you learn to tune them out. For me, I learned to tune them out through some powerful concepts like gratitude. Did you know gratitude is one of the highest elevated emotions we experience? And it gets you operating, and we're going to get into a little bit of this, on a higher energetic frequency, and you start attracting more and better things in your life simply by becoming grateful for what you have. I started with gratitude. I began to take part in positive affirmations every day, present tense statements about who I wanted to be as if I was already in that position, being that person. And now I start my days with lots of I am statements. I am abundant. I am successful. I am talented. I am helping people through my coaching. And this stuff has become a reality for me because I started believing it. And what we believe, we become. But it starts with tuning out the negativity. Things like positive affirmations, things like gratitude will help you to do that. And the primary one that helped me above all other things is learning the art of meditation. We don't have time to get into all the ways you can meditate, but meditation is all about tuning out the outer voices and tuning in to the inner voice in your heart, in your mind, in the power that runs through this universe. And as you do that, great, great things are coming your way. So you got to learn to, first of all, tune out. What are the voices you're hearing in your head right now? What are they telling you? Tune that out. And not just once or not just twice. You need to take time daily to tune out of that and tune in to this second thing that is most important, the second foundational element. You need to tune in to your source energy, an inward, realistic world that is just as real as your outer world, but is focused more on things that you can't see than things you can see. For me, it's God. You might call that force source energy. For others, you might call it the divine. Whatever it is, that energy is the dynamic that runs through all of this world. Scientists have done research that shows us at a subatomic level. Did you know 99.9999 and a bunch of 9% of everything it is just empty space? It's just energy. And you can tune into that energy force that I believe God flows through, that the source flows through, both in everything, through everything that exists. Space itself is full of the energy of God. You are full of the energy of God. Plants and trees and buildings and cars and cell phones, like I'm talking to you on, are full and filled with that energy source that is God. And when you tune out that world on the outside and you tune in, you become a co-creator with that force, with that source, with God. And you're able to attract into your life anything you can envision, anything that you can dream. Nothing's too big for you. Nothing's too far for you. And there's a bonus that comes your way. You begin to get to enjoy the journey as you head for the destination. Have you ever been on a road trip? When we go on a road trip, we have a destination in mind. Let's say you're on the East Coast and your destination is that beautiful Pacific Ocean on the West Coast. And as you set out, you decide you're going to see all the sights along the way. But you close your eyes in the car and you go to sleep and you sleep and you sleep while somebody else drives, and you wake up and you have some coffee and then you go to sleep. What are you doing? You're missing the journey. So many times in our life, because we're listening to the negative voices, because we haven't learned the art of tuning out, we're not able to tune in to the voice in our head, tune in to the God that keeps this all going and flows through everything, to that source energy. Because we can't tune out, we can't tune in. And until you learn that art, you're going to miss out on the road trip of life. What happens as a side result of choosing to co-create with the universe and set that future, your destination out in front of you and go after it and believe it and know it's coming your way, just waiting on it to get there, you start to enjoy the journey. You start to experience the higher elevated emotions of things like love and joy and peace and wholeness and gratitude and so very, very, very much more. And you literally attract that life you want to yourself. If that sounds like something that makes sense to you and you're into, you need to follow along here. Jump in for the rest of the course, because it's going to help you live your best life ever. Get out there and get on the journey. Get out of your little prison cell. I love what Wayne Dyer used to say. He said, have a mind that is open to everything and attached to nothing. And what he meant was, don't look through the little prison cell window and think this is all there is. Get some drone footage, get up above it all, and see there's so much more to explore in your life, in your universe, in your world, and your best life ever. Get out there and go get it and watch what happens, and go be great.